8:10. We're talking about defibrillators this morning.
Everyone clear. Do not touch patient.
Stand back.
During shock.
And a campaign by a 15-year-old girl has gone all the way to Parliament.
I just want to raise the awareness that defibrillators are so amazing, they're life-saving.
Jessica Batchelor from Seaford witnessed a family friend dying from a heart attack at a netball match. A solution? Well, she says it should be compulsory to have defibrillators in schools and sports centres nationwide.
Cardiac arrests, when people have them, if you have a defibrillator there, their survival rate increases so much. And it's not just older people, it's younger people as well. Anyone can suffer from it, and this equipment is amazing.
Jessica's campaign has been inspired and taken up by Maria Caulfield, her local MP, who we'll speak to in a moment, to bring the bill to Parliament, and a bill that has passed its first reading this week.
The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many as I've got up and say aye. Aye. Have the contrary no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
So far, so good. More from Maria Caulfield in a moment. But first, here is the background to Jessica's story.
Earlier this year in February, I went as usual to play netball in Eastbourne. And on my way there, I was just in the car with a couple of my friends and my friend's mum, not thinking anything of the night. We were just hoping for a win. And then once over there, halfway through our match, my friend's mum collapsed in front of us, and not thinking anything of it, maybe she just fainted, it was quite cold, she probably hadn't eaten enough. We all ran over and everything sort of changed when we realised she wasn't breathing and her heart had stopped and we needed to call an ambulance. Once the ambulance got there and then an air ambulance was called, it turned out that unfortunately she wasn't going to make it and her heart couldn't be restarted. And I remember during this, I asked whether the sports centre had a defibrillator, because not even having to question it, I thought that this life-saving equipment would be in a sports centre like this. And they replied with, no, we don't have one. So I then went on to look into the law and see whether they should have had one. And it turns out there is no legislation surrounding having a defibrillator. And as I was just about to become the young mayor of my town, Seaford, I thought, there is no better opportunity to get defibrillators for our town and prevent this to happen to other families.
Call for help now. Remove all clothing from patient's chest.
I just want to raise the awareness that defibrillators are so amazing, they're life-saving, and you don't really think about it until you lose someone to it, that cardiac arrests, when people have them, if you have a defibrillator there, their survival rate increases so much.
Stand by.
Stand clear, everyone.
Shock. Everyone clear. Do not touch patient.
Stand back.
During shock.
It is just an amazing piece of life-saving equipment. So from my campaign and from this unfortunate experience, I'm hoping to make everyone aware all over England that you can make a difference when something like this happens, because it really, really does help.
Well done to Jessica Batchelor from Seaford. And let's talk to Maria Caulfield, her MP. Hello, Maria.
Good morning.
This is a great story, isn't it, of someone who's really making a difference.
Yeah, and Jessica's an amazing young woman, and I first heard her campaign when I went to a town council meeting in Seaford, and she was explaining she's raised thousands of pounds for Seaford to place defibrillators in as many public areas as possible. So as well as campaigning to change the law across the country, she's making a real difference in Seaford itself.
Is this law, do you think it's got a good chance of actually making it?
Well, it's certainly got cross-party support. So when I read out the bill this week, there was Labour MPs, there was SNP MPs and Conservatives too. So it has got a lot of support behind it. The difficulty is it's a backbench bill, so we've always got to compete with government time for these things. So it has got a chance, but it's about raising the issue, and if it doesn't get through this time, I think it's only a matter of time before it does.
How important is it? then? I mean, in public places, every school, every sports centre. I mean, are you convinced this would save lives?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my experience as a nurse, I've dealt with many cardiac arrests in hospital, and on every ward you've got a defib, and you just run and get it as soon as someone goes into arrest. There's 30,000 cardiac arrests outside hospitals each year. About 80% of those people who have those die. With a defib, less than 10% would die. So it makes that difference. And 12 young people a week in this country die of cardiac arrest from unknown heart conditions. And again, you've got about 4 minutes really to be effective in saving someone's life when they go into cardiac arrest. So as fantastic as our paramedics are in this country, realistically, the best chance people have is having a defib locally, and anyone can use them. You don't need to be trained. I am campaigning to get people training because they are often reluctant to use them, but you don't need training to use them. They are really simple to use. You stick the pads on the chest, turn the machine on, and it tells you exactly what to do.
Maria, thanks very much indeed. We'll follow the progress of that bill. Richard says, I think shops and other premises should be encouraged to do this as well, if it's just £1,000 a time. And perhaps have a sign outside. There's already one in Peacehaven outside a burger shop, which is an interesting idea. Juliet Smith is online. She's former High Sheriff. You gave us a call, Juliet, because you've been involved in this sort of campaign as well, haven't you?
Yes, inspirational, Jessica is, and I'm very grateful to Maria Caulfield for taking the matter to Parliament. It just seems extraordinary that in public buildings there have to be a certain number of fire extinguishers, and yet there's no legal law, there's no legal binding on anyone to put defibrillators in, yet their life-changing and saving attributes are phenomenal.
I mean, it's a very good point. And you know, the thing is, you'll never know when they're needed, but when they're needed, the key is, and Maria touched on it there, is whether people feel confident in using it. Because I mean, you can have a law, you can install these things, but if people think, oh no, I just don't want to take charge, because it also relies on people being bold enough to use them.
I absolutely agree. When I launched with CCAM, with Tim Fellows and the wonderful Professor Douglas Chamberlain, who's the founder of the whole paramedic movement, the Save a Life campaign, I too would hardly have dared touch a defibrillator if it had been feet away from me. But I've learned anyone can pick them up, they talk to you, and of course simultaneously a phone call will have been made to the ambulance, and they will also guide you through it.
Okay.
You cannot kill someone using a defibrillator.
No, but you can save their lives. Juliet, thank you.